Hi there, everybody, and welcome to another episode of I forgot what we called it. What did we call it? The
Quarantine cast.
Quarantine Cast. See, this is
Quarantine.
why you're here, John. This is why you're here. Quarantine Cast episode 2. I am joined by the wonderful John Lyus.
Hello, bonjour.
Where's your glasses gone?
Oh, yeah.
There they are.
There you go.
And
my
the
single.
amazing Scott Davis.
Hello.
And today we are coming to you live from all over London. In fact, the other two chaps are in North, and I'm in South. So I'm in the better place, and they're not.
Don't go there. Don't go there.
And today we thought we enjoyed doing our little live streams of the day, so we thought we'd do another one. As you can see, it's hugely well produced. The fact I can't even remember the name of it, and hasn't been thrown together at all. But yeah, that's the way we roll. So yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about. We're going to start talking about the news that Sony have delayed some of their movies to 2021, which is a shame, but isn't hugely surprising. Scott, do you want to tell us a bit about that?
Yes, I can do that. So, obviously, as we know, we're in the still in the pandemic of the coronavirus, and obviously, there's a lot of bigger things happening in the world than movies. But we are a movie site, and we're going to talk about the movies. So, in terms of news, obviously, we know that this Friday coming was due to be the release of James Bond 25, and that was the first big one to be pushed back because of this, and obviously a lot have followed suit. So Black Widow, Mulan, lots of others, Wonder Woman, etc. have all been moved back. But there's news today that Sony have. I'm just going to get my little laptop here. Sony have moved back and altered a lot of their big movies that were coming out in the summer and later in the year. Biggest of which being that the new Ghostbusters film, Ghostbusters Afterlife, which was due on July the 10th, I believe, or in July sometime, has been pushed back to March the 5th of 2021, which is quite substantial. Obviously, given there's probably a couple of reasons for that. Dealing with the coronavirus, one is obviously that there's going to be a huge, as we were saying before, a huge chock-a-block of films that will probably come out once once we can all go back to normal and the cinemas reopen. That there will be a glut of big movies that were due to open earlier in the year that won't be open until later in the year. So the aforementioned Mulan, obviously Bond moved a long time ago, and Black Widow, and a few others, even films like Promising Young Woman and Saint Maud and all those kind of movies, they were all kind of pushed back now. So there's going to be quite a move, I think, for a lot of these movies. So Ghostbusters, Sony have taken the decision to move Ghostbusters back to March the 5th of next year. And they've also moved back the release date of Morbius, the Living Vampire, starring Jared Leto, which seemingly is connected to the MCU or the Spider-Man Sony connected universe, as we've seen from the trailer with Michael Keaton in there. That's been moved back to March the 19th, which is only 2 weeks after Ghostbusters is due to come out. Now, obviously, these aren't set in stone. Obviously, these have just been moved now because of what's going on. Who knows how long this is going to go on for? We might see that a lot of this gets moved back to next summer. Obviously, Fast and Furious 9 was pushed back a whole year because of what's going on. So who's to say that doesn't happen as well? But I think they're just weighing up their options and trying to find the best way of moving forward post-pandemic, whenever that may be. Fingers crossed that will be, as soon as we can possibly do it. But hey, we'll see what happens. They've also moved back Peter Rabbit, which had already moved back once. That's now coming out in January.
When did they move it back to before?
They'd moved it back from this. It was either the end of last month or this month. I think it might have been Easter, so probably next week or the week after in the UK at least. They moved it back to August, I believe, July, August. But obviously now, because of that, for the same reasons, they've moved it completely out of this year, so they're moving it to January of next year.
So you type up some sort of petition to keep pushing it back. So maybe January is more chance that we could, maybe throw something up. Some sort of rabbit.
I mean that would be lovely. But I'm sure there's a few kids out there who would want to fight you for doing that.
I think so. I'm not so sure.
Maybe. Hey, we get Paddington 3 instead. I think everyone's happy, aren't we?
I'm happy with that. Paddington versus Peter Rabbit. Some sort of crossover where they just went at it like crazy. If you're listening, you have that one for free. Maybe.
And And there's a few other smaller ones that's only moved back. The Tom Hanks World War II movie Greyhound, which he wrote the script for, has been completely taken off the release schedule. It looks like it's going to possibly be moved back to, it says here on the Deadline article that was the one that went up, Q4, which obviously means Q4, so I'm guessing maybe awards season potentially. I'm not too sure. There's a few other smaller ones that have moved, but obviously that's part of the kind of reshuffle, that as soon as a couple of big ones get moved back, a lot of the smaller ones are being moved back as well. But there is one actually being brought forward, which is Kevin Hart drama Fatherhood, which has been moved to October the 23rd, brought forward from January the 15th. Obviously, that's a comedy drama. That's coming out at the end of October, so they're obviously
Kevin
seeing
Hart's
a bit of
comedy drama.
Yes. Hey, he was quite good in the Upside.
He was
quite good in that.
Yeah.
Give him his due. So there's a few other things moving about. The only thing that it says on here that it hasn't moved just yet, big Sony one, which is Venom 2, but that's not actually out to October. So you'd imagine that will, if anything sort of sticks post summer, post pandemic, etc. Venom 2 will probably be the big one that they can afford to. It's like we were saying earlier, weren't we, Dave? That studios will probably leave something in the mix and just move other stuff. So Venom for that.
I think they're going to have to. That's what we were saying on the other, the first quarantine cast, was just that, you know, if everybody's sat at home at the moment and can't actually make any films, then we're going to have a load of films that are sitting there on shelves now waiting to come out. But then they'll have nothing to release in the next few months. So I think we're going to see films start to be staggered just to fill the gaps, and then we'll see, you know, the normal service resume as and when that happens. Yeah,
I think obviously, as you say, it's more of a in the strange circumstances. It's all going to be business decisions, isn't it? They have to weigh up their money coming in and money going out, etc. And obviously, having lots of movies in one place might see their profits soar, but then, you know, 6 months later they might plummet because there's nothing coming out. So you're right. I think they'll probably stagger a few things. I'd imagine Disney potentially could stagger Mulan on, say, I don't know, September, Black Widow coming out at Christmas. Who knows? Or vice versa.
I think things will change, because usually in January is the time when the studios just shovel the films that they think aren't going to go anywhere. So I reckon the next January, if everything turns out okay, we're going to see some pretty good films. They're going to actually use that month for something other than kind of, you know, tanking their turkeys. So that's going to be really interesting. I do think you're going to see some that are going to end up going to streaming if it carries on for ages, but no one's going to want to lose money. The rumors flying around about Black Widow going straight to Disney Plus, which is crazy.
It's never going to happen.
You know,
it's never going to happen.
Exactly. So I think you're right. I think we're going to see things just pile up. We're going to see releases quicker than would usually happen. So, for example, that's going to affect us. So there's going to be like big red carpet, you know, every other week or maybe even every week. That's how we're going to see it happen. So
Scott's going to love it.
Oh, honestly, can't wait. But there's more important things at the moment than a couple of red carpets. The other thing we were saying earlier about streaming is that you might, as you say, John, you might see an influx of some sort of middle movies or indie movies that were looking to get theatrical releases that now won't find a place in the marketplace, sadly, whether it's because there'll be too much stuff or whether it will just be too clogged to get stuff out. So we were saying films like I said at the top of the show, things like, say, Maud, Promising Young Woman, those type of movies potentially could go to streaming. Obviously, we would love to see them in the cinemas. Of course, we want to see them in the cinemas. They're indie movies that need all the support they can get. But as it is at the moment, the marketplace might present itself an opportunity for them to do what Universal have done and put a potential quote-unquote premium price on some rentals for a couple of months and then give it a release, you know, in the independent cinemas afterwards. I don't know, but those decisions, I think they're still kind of waiting to see how long it goes on for, because, you know, we could be out of this at the end of May, we could be out of this at the end of August. Who knows? So,
2021.
They've got to protect their, well, potentially, who knows? They've got to protect their business like everybody else has, you know, so we'll see what happens. But yeah, they've moved. It's not surprising. But, you know, as much as it's, I guess, for some film fans, a little frustrating, A, there's bigger things to worry about, and B, you will get to see them at some point. Just got to hold fire, and all the treats will be there when we get out of it together.
That's the hope. Can we just pause for one moment and appreciate Scott's lens flare?
Isn't it good? Isn't it good? Sponsored by JJ Abrams.
Look at this. I think you can see my mouse on the stream. Yeah, look.
Yeah. Well, JJ's not busy at the minute, is he? So he thought he'd just
lend you his lens flare.
Give us a little bit of. Give us a little bit
John
of.
had some nice lens. John, put your lens flare back on.
It's more like dramatic lighting.
It's like a horror film.
There's a UFO going on or something like that.
It's like coming out of the exit.
My neighbours are out.
Yeah.
That's going to be good.
And where's your funky glasses gone?
They're here. Do you want them? I'll send them
No,
to you.
Yeah.
Put them on.
You've got to wear them. Come on now.
They're not going to happen on anything that's being live streamed or recorded.
It's too late now. I might have a recording from earlier.
Excellent.
No, sadly, I don't.
All right, so what's next?
So next week I'm going to talk about the Mandalorian, and there was some news today about
Love it.
potential casting. Scotty, hit it.
So, as we all know, Disney Plus has been going for a week almost now. Is it a week today? Yeah, it's a week today. It's been in the UK, and everyone's been enjoying the treats that await. Whether it's a rewatch of the MCU, whether it's old
Lady in the
Disney
Tramp.
movies like
I'm half an hour
Lady
into
in the
Lady in the
Tramp,
Tramp
yeah.
at the moment with my boys.
So I signed up today to check it out on the free trial, and then obviously it will carry on afterwards.
If anyone at Disney's watching, if anyone can sort Scott out.
Disney's watching, yeah, there you go, Disney Plus. There's loads of old films on there, like The Love Bug and Mary Poppins.
Mate, you have no idea. All the films, they've got Journey to the Centre of the Earth. Now, for some unknown reason, the Journey to the Centre of the Earth with James frickin' Mason is one of the best films ever, right? And my boys, who would never watch anything that's older than, sort of 2000, have got this thing about this film. They love it. So we got Disney Plus for Marvel, Star Wars, and, Pixar. All they care about, Journey to the Centre of the Earth. I mean, so well done, Disney. I don't know how
That's thanks to you, John. That's your heritage.
Yeah. Also on there is a great film from the 90s called The Rocketeer, which is one of the first it was in that little flux of like B and C list comic books like that, The Phantom, The Shadow, Batman Forever for some people. But there's a plethora of things on there. Obviously, of course, I have to always mention Mrs. Doubtfire. That's on there. And of course, The Simpsons. The Simpsons is getting this amazing. Yeah. Well, I don't think it's a revival, but people are able to watch The Simpsons. No one's ever been able to watch The Simpsons
all 600
in the same way as you can watch. Yeah, but in the same way you can watch Friends, or the same way you can watch The Office or Fawlty Towers. You can sit and watch The Simpsons all day from beginning to end if you want to.
Do you reckon someone's already started a challenge to watch all 600? They must have done.
Of course they are. But most people would skip the first season, maybe. Because it's not
great, it's weird, but we're doing that at the moment, and it's really fun. Yeah. Some great stuff in there. It looks weird, but it's fab.
When was
and it's first two or three seasons, I think.
That was when I got into it. I had the tape. I've still got the only tape I still own is the Simpsons single series.
Oh man!
Well, the first season is also the one where he sounds like Walter Matthau. He changed his voice after season one, isn't it? I think.
Yeah.
Anyway, but the big thing everyone's watching, of course, is The Mandalorian, which we finally got here, and everyone is raving about how good it is, and of course, is he called the child, the baby? Is he the child?
Yep.
AKA Yoda, but he's not Yoda. He is a Yoda. But of course, they've already greenlit season 2 because of the success of the first one when Disney Plus was first aired, and obviously when they were making it, Jon Favreau and those guys have obviously done a fantastic job, and they've already apparently completed work on season 2, which is lightning quick. I don't know how true that is, but that's the rumor. But they've made a few big castings already. Rosario Dawson has been casting it as one of the characters from the Clone Wars, I believe. Who's going to come into the animated Clone Wars TV show. She's going to come into it. And also Michael Biehn, the great Michael Biehn of Terminator and Aliens fame, is in season 2 as well. But there's a rumor today that the one and only Jamie Lee Curtis has been spotted on the set. It's rumor, and it only came up today, I think. I'm not sure how true it is, but the latest rumor is that she potentially could be part of season 2, which is pretty epic casting considering it's Jamie Lee Curtis, and she's coming off a bit of a. We talk about renaissances a little bit, aren't we, with The Simpsons and everything? She's on a bit of a renaissance after the success of Halloween, 2018. Obviously, the 2 sequels that they've made or making, and obviously she's
available on HeyUGuys.com or our YouTube channel.
Yeah, very
good. Little plug there, and also Knives Out, which is out on DVD now, which is if you haven't seen Knives Out, everybody, come on now, it is absolutely amazing. So yeah, she might be cast as well, but I haven't seen any of the show. I don't know if I think you guys, at least Dave, I think you've started watching it, but I think what's your take on it? How good is it?
So no, it's great. If you're a Star Wars fan, there's another Jamie Lee Curtis. If you're a Star Wars fan, then you're going to love it. Everything. So I'm not a massive Star Wars fan. Never have been. I enjoy them. I'm not a huge. I don't know everything and anything about the canon, and I was slightly confused about how they were going to do it. But actually, the story's brilliant. Jon Favreau, obviously hugely well known for his work on the Iron Man movies, and he's in many of the Marvel films, but also he's worked more recently on Jungle Book and Lion King. I think he's hugely underrated. I mean, if you walk down the street and said, "Who's Jon Favreau?" to most people, I'm not sure they'd know who he was. Not sure if you agree with that.
I think they'd know his work, but I don't think they'd know who he was. I mean, they might know, but Tony Stark's bodyguard.
Yeah, you'd go, him. But the writing's fabulous, and my boys. So I've got a 6-year-old and an 8-year-old, and I started them watching it. They weren't really sure about it at first, and now every day they're like, "Can we watch the next one?" And I have to tell them that we've got to wait till next week to see it. It's like going back to 1982. It's like, what do you mean you've got to wait a week to see the next episode? Let me just watch the next one.
Right.
And, I know a lot of people in this country have already seen all of them, the ones available from the US through dodgy means, but we're holding out to watch them all legitimately.
I think it is a shame, but it's weird because in the first few episodes, one of the main characters is Carl Weathers, and I guess get flashbacks to the Sky movie quiz that we all did with. I can't find a photo of that. Yeah, it was me, Dave, and Em. We had this. We were against Empire. We were against someone, maybe Total, a few, and every team had their own celebrity guest, and ours was Carl Weathers. Now, Carl Weathers hadn't been seen for quite some time, and the thing is, he was really nice. He was really sweet. He was, we didn't do the whole big.
He kept getting the answers wrong.
This is the point. We lost because of Carl Weathers, and I think we were doing quite well. He kept buzzing as if that was his new favourite thing to do, and then not having a clue what it was. But it was weird to see him back again doing his thing. But for my part, I really enjoy what I've seen so far of The Mandalorian. It's a very different tone to a lot of the other stuff. Certainly a lot, different tone to the films, which I think is really good. I'll be interested to see what happens, especially what happens for season 2. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but there was a really fantastic video about how they made The Mandalorian, and they made it not on I think they did build some sets. Some sets had to be outside, but for most of the Mandalorian, if I'm understanding it right, it was shot in a massive LED enclosed space. So it wasn't green screen; it was LED, where they were able to project all of the different backgrounds. So there's a fantastic video on YouTube. If you check it out, you'll see how they just managed to dress the middle of it, the middle of the set, and then they would project whatever you needed, like all the Tatooine scenes or the desert scenes, whatever it was, and all the insides of the ship. It was just like the holodeck. It was just like the holodeck. Wow. It was really fantastic. And it's really interesting to see how that kind of technology is changing the way that these things are being made. Because if they have already made season 2, it's because they're using tech like that. So, I think it'd be interesting to see how that technology moves and helps filmmakers in the future, especially now.
What you're saying is, with motion capture, anyone can be anyone, and any
set
can be anywhere. So basically, if I want to become a famous actor now, I can be in any location I want at any time.
You still need all that technology. You still need the good writing, which is the important bit. And I think The Mandalorian has it. So I'll be interested to see if Jamie Lee Curtis, is going to come in. But I don't think it's going to be a recurring role. It's more like she's just going to turn up as a 12-legged alien or something like that,
Baby
which would be fun.
Baby Yoda's mum. Like this big.
Yoda, that would be going to be interesting to see.
She walks in and she's this big and green.
I would. Yeah, that's a Disney Plus subscription right there. I'd pay to see that.
Too right.
So yeah, so it's interesting. It's interesting. I mean, fingers crossed. I think we're going to be hearing a lot more about it because there's no more films coming out. So there's the Clone Wars, which I've never seen. I don't know. People love it, but they're talking about a character from the Clone Wars called Rex. I don't know who that is. A clone. Who's a big part of that coming into the Mandalorian at some point. So there's a fair chance that there's going to be that kind of crossover. And they were talking that Temuera Morrison, I think, is the name of the guy who played Jango Fett. That's who all the clones were based off. They're talking about getting him back or something. But it'll be interesting to see. That would be a great bit of fan service. But yeah, as again, I haven't seen it or I don't know much about it. I'm a big Star Wars fan, but not a lot of the more recent stuff has kind of captured me. So I'm interested to see what goes on.
Yes, good. Excellent. Nice one. I haven't said already, but if you don't already subscribe to Hey You Guys, please do. Oh no, look, running out of time. We don't want that. If you don't already subscribe to Hey You Guys, you can. Please click all the links, and we'll be doing a few more of these. If you like them, let us know in the comments, and let us know if you've seen Mandalorian and what you're sad most about. That's the movies that's been pushed back, and what you're hoping is going to get released, without getting pushed back. And what
it ain't Peter Rabbit 2, mate. I can tell you that right now. Peter Rabbit 2,
and I guess things like as well. Like, are you happy to see these big theatrical movies on a small screen, or do you think that the studios should push them back? Do let us know in the comments below. And a shout out to my mate Jamie, who's just texted me to tell me that he's watching us whilst in the bath. So
nice, good for you.
There's an image.
Cool. How lovely.
We haven't got long left, but the last thing we wanted to talk about was, let me check my list, Scott's most disappointed moment. Now this amused me earlier because we were having a little Zoom chat, and he suddenly goes, "Dave, check this out," and it wouldn't be right if I didn't. Now cut to Scott. That's not Scott. Yep. Once you start talking, you'll pop up. And show us your most disappointed movie moment of the day. Go.
Yeah, this is the most disappointing movie moment of the day. So this is from
maybe the year.
It's from someone on Twitter called @RobertPattonsSVN. I don't know. Thank you for this. It's hilarious. But we'll try and do this on every show. We'll try and find something fun to end the episodes with. This is the first of many. So I don't like this film. I've never seen this film, but we're going to talk about Mamma Mia Part 2. And for all you fans of Mamma Mia,
disappointing about Mamma Mia Part 2? That's the question.
From the film itself, wait until you see. I'm going to have to we haven't got the technology just yet to press a button and have it pop up. So it'll be flipped. So this is, let me get it in shot there. So this is.
Well, we have got the technology, but we're going. This is more fun.
This is Mamma Mia 2, right, and prepare to have your dreams crushed, everyone. Look at this. I don't know if you can see it.
There's Lily James. Look, she's not.
Try and move it in a bit.
Good, Scott. Look, she's suddenly somewhere.
Literally, everything about Mamma Mia 2 is fake. It's all green screen and blue screen. How after a really successful first film could they not afford to fly the cast to, I'm going to guess, Greece or something, or France?
Yes.
Riviera. Look at all the CGI that's in Mamma Mia 2.
I'm so disappointed, not only for that, but also that I've just been reminded that they made a Mamma Mia sequel.
There's a really funny thing at the end with Cher at the end of the video. It's coming up in a second
as well.
Here we go, look, blue screen. It's just a blue screen anyway. So Cher didn't need green screen behind her.
Did they blue screen the blue screen? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
Terrible. So Mamma Mia 2 is all fake. The first one might be fake as well. But now we know why Mel didn't want to come back for Mamma Mia 2.
To Greece, or
they're like, nah. The flip side of that, as a little bit of trivia, Michael Caine pretty much took Dirty Rotten Scoundrels as a job because they said they'd fly him and put him up in the Riviera for 3 months next door to his mate Roger Moore. So he just said yes. It looks good that the film is actually very good. It's very funny.
I'd rather see a movie about Michael Caine and Roger Moore on the Riviera, getting into scrapes, sort of chatting up people and everything.
And Rob Brydon. That'd be funny.
The trip.
That would be good. I'd enjoy that very much.
So there's a little bit of fun for the evening. Thank you for that person on Twitter for crushing our dreams. But we're in need of some film fun. So There it is.
Film. If you've got film fun and you're watching, send it through, and maybe
Yeah,
you
tweet
can
us.
feature.
Tweet us at HeyUGuys.
Do all the thingies.
Okay, so you can follow us on where you're watching us now on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe and hit the little thumbs up icon to give us a little thumbs up, and also click the subscribe little button to be notified every time we upload some stuff. There's still some stuff coming in, interviews, etc. And obviously you can go back through the plethora of interviews that we've had in the last couple of years. And you can see my face and John's face and Dave's face, and of course the face of the great Stephen Pape. You can follow us on Twitter at HeyUGuys, and you can follow us on Instagram, where there's lots of cool stuff, on at HeyUGuysOfficial, where we've posted our new logo, which Dave came up with today, which is getting a lot of love.
Look at that. It only took me 2 years to make it. And again, I put Maverick in there for Jamie, because my mate Jamie's a pilot who flies for EasyJet, and unfortunately they're all grounded at the moment. So I put him in for the H just for Jamie. There you go.
Very good. I was going to say, if anyone's going to beat the coronavirus to a release date, it's Tom Cruise and Top Gun, isn't it?
Yeah,
let's be honest. Tom Cruise is like...
He'll probably fix corona on his own, actually. He'll just fight it in the streets.
Where's the cure? Let's get Tom Cruise on the case.
Whilst we're online, let's just say a massive thank you to all of the NHS workers and everybody who's making not just in Britain but in every country in the world, who are just working their butts off to try and help everybody. This is such a bizarre time, but there's so many. I watched the John Krasinski video yesterday. If you haven't watched it yet, do watch it. Or the Ryan Reynolds one, or the Chris Pratt one, but especially the John Krasinski one. It was just made you feel good to be human, and there's so many lovely people in the world. Just search his name, and I think it's called The Good News. Was it some good news? Some good news.
Yeah. Good news. No, GNS. Yes, isn't it GNS? GNS. Yeah, he had Steve Carell on, didn't he, as well, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, that's because it was the 15th anniversary of The Office.
Yeah, another good shout out is on Instagram is the Slaver of Stories, which is loads of famous people going online to read stories for kids as part of their education and to keep them occupied. So if you go on there, I think Amy Adams and Jennifer Garner started it, and there's loads now. There's Josh Brolin, Jeff Goldblum, Ryan Reynolds, I think, reads a story. So there's some amazing stuff going on there as well, which is raising money for kids out of school and stuff.
His wife, what's her first name? Schwarzenegger. She's written Catherine Schwarzenegger's written a book, so they read her one on his Instagram as well. So so there we go. So that's the end of our show. Sorry it was a bit of a mess, but we're making this up as we go along. It's what we do. If you want to see something special, let us know. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll look forward to seeing you next time on the Quarantine Cast. And I remember the name this time. All right, guys.
You should plug. Friday.
Love you. Bye.
Before we go, Friday we're doing a James Bond special. So Friday is the day that we've got 2 minutes 51 seconds before Zoom runs out. We got so James Bond was supposed to be released on Friday. Obviously, it isn't going to be anymore. Hasn't got a release date yet locked in, but we're just going to talk about all things James Bond. We're going to talk about our favourite movies, why we like it, and just have a bit of fun, really. So tune in for that. I think that's 8 o'clock on Friday. So well, keep your eyes on our YouTube, and we'll let you know. All right, guys, take care.
See you later, guys.
Bye.
Thanks, Nate. Bye bye.